A matchup between two up-and-coming teams in the Southeastern Conference tonight on Friday Night Heights here on the SEC Network. It's the 6th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats traveling to the 16th-ranked Auburn Tigers venue here in Auburn Arena, ready to get things going. And I'm Laura Rutledge, joined by former Rutgers gymnast Lauren Sisler. And Lauren, a lot to be excited about for both of these teams. We'll start with Kentucky, a team that's been surging in this really tough Southeastern Conference recently. What has been working for Tim Garrison's group?
Yeah, Tim Garrison in his 7th season. Still some youth there, but they've been eyeing that 197. That's kind of the name of the game. They fell short in regionals, so the key here is they want to be that final team, that 12th team in that spot when it comes to nationals, and that's something they're really striving for, and they really believe that they can get there, but it starts with executing and getting there here early in the season. Also
starts with gymnasts like Sydney Dukes and Alex Highland. Highland with season-high scores on vault, beam, and floor, a huge contributor last week against the 6th-ranked Florida Gators, and also they will rely on her big time tonight against these Auburn Tigers that are a very young team. Kentucky's a little bit young, and really we're seeing them try to do everything they can to kind of repeat what they've done before. Auburn's in a scenario where they're trying to prove it. They've got 7 gymnasts who have never before competed for Auburn.
Yeah, and Jeff says that's a real challenge. You got to get the girls out there and have to get them experience. So they're really shifting up the lineups, throwing girls in and out of the lineups in different spots in each and every meet. And that's the biggest thing here. But one thing he's pointed to is that leadership has been tremendous across the board, and that's something that they've honed in on in the offseason. So you'll see freshmen stepping up as well as the upperclassmen.
A lot of freshmen relied on to be leaders throughout this conference. And coming up tonight, lots of treats for you. Molly Korth, a youngster from this Kentucky team who decided to go to Kentucky enrolling early. We'll tell you more about her story. And then Abby Millay from Auburn, fighting back from a season-ending knee injury last year, how she came back. It's a great story. Auburn also and Kentucky very close in this series. Kentucky with a slight lead, 43-42. We're about to start our Before the Heights coverage. Right now, we go to Brandon Stevens, who will be singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang clear, and the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Baby, this is what you came for. Just can't tell you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to Auburn Arena for tonight's competition between the University of Kentucky Wildcats and your Auburn Tigers. Tonight's meet is proudly presented by Auburn Bank. Let's get started and meet tonight's competitors. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Kentucky Wildcats. A senior from Batavia, Illinois, Corey Reckeniger. A freshman from Jacksonville, Florida, Ella Warren. A freshman from Gibsonia, Ohio, Megan Manfredi. A junior from Swanee, Georgia, Katie Stewart. A junior from Covina, California, Aubrey Rosa. A freshman from French Settlement, Louisiana, Madison Avery. A sophomore from Cambridge, Wisconsin, Molly Korth. A sophomore from Midlothian, Texas, Haley Poland. A senior from Newark, Ohio, Katie Carlisle. A sophomore from Douglasville, Ohio, Erin Allen. A junior from Tyler, Texas, Sydney Dukes. A junior from Waldorf, Maryland, Danae Davis. A junior from Foxborough, Massachusetts, Alex Highland. A sophomore from Cypress, California, Elena Kwan. And a junior from Stillwater, Oklahoma, Katrina Koka. The head coach for the Wildcats is Tim Garrison. Ladies, please move to your first event. Colorado, your Auburn Tigers.
All right, everyone. Coming up next on the SEC Network. Tune in right now to see the 6th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats take on the 16th-ranked Auburn Tigers. We'll see you in just a moment.
Ladies, you all have 2 minutes on your feet for the Auburn Gymnastics t-shirt.
Thanks so much, John, and welcome inside Auburn Arena in Auburn, Alabama for Friday Night Heights between the 6th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats and the 16th-ranked Auburn Tigers. We'll be with you all night. The Gymnasties are ready to go, and I'm Laura Rutledge with Lauren Sisler. This series history between these two teams has been tight. Auburn with an opportunity to tie it up tonight. They've split the last 10 meetings, but these two coaches in Jeff Graba and Tim Garrison, Lauren, they know what it's like to try to get themselves in contention in this very tough SEC.
Yeah, Tim Garrison in his 7th season, Jeff Graba in his 8th season here at Auburn, and really both these coaches have brought both of these teams to relevance here in the SEC, and they've been able to do so with a lot of youth, and that's difficult to do.
Auburn will begin this meet on the vault. Of course, Kentucky will be on the bars, and here's the way the vault lineup looks for Auburn. Jeff Graba is saying, Lauren, that they're trying to get a little more amplitude, a little more power in these vaults, and watch for a Miracle Phillips in that 2 spot because she is trying to make sure she doesn't carry the weight of the entire vault lineup on her shoulders. But we begin with Katie Becker, wants to lead off and settle down and be consistent.
And I think something that's really interesting about this Auburn lineup on vault, they have 3 10-0 start values there. The last 3 vaults you're going to see Yurchenko 1.5s, which is very impressive for this Auburn team, especially this young team, 2 of those being freshmen.
Yeah, that was a big point for Jeff Graba, wanting to get these young, talented vaulters in to really increase the vault situation. So as I mentioned, Katie Becker will lead it off for the Auburn Tigers. They are looking for consistency here, and she brings that.
You're going to see Yurchenko full, nice layout, nice straight positioning, just a tiny hop on the landing. Could have seen a little more amplitude from her, but overall, great start for them. Always looking for consistency here in this top spot so that they can really build on those scores. Just a little bit of a pike down there. Again, just a tiny little hop on the landing, but overall, good start for the Auburn Tigers.
Now, Kentucky will begin on the bars with Katie Carlisle. She's solid, and they want to get her handstands really straight. Now, they did fall twice on the bars last week against Florida, so they want to make sure that they're starting off strong here. Katie Carlisle begins.
A senior here had a little trouble in warm-ups on that release move, the straddle Jaeger. No problem there. Overshoot to handstand, toe circle. And the key here is really to hit those handstands. And coach says you can always tell when they're being aggressive when they hit those handstands early. A little bit of a pull in there on the full twist and double back, but a very difficult dismount. Nice landing there for Kentucky and a good solid start. Just a little bit of execution there, but overall good start.
Back to vault for Auburn. A Miracle Phillips, I mentioned it. She's been practicing extremely well, but they want to see that consistency in competition. So we'll see what she brings. But Lauren, she has a powerful vault that can be very exciting.
Yeah, and I think one big thing with the Miracle Phillips is she's really put a lot of pressure on herself in this lineup. She's in the number 2 spot, and she kind of carries the weight of the team on her shoulders. So Jeff Graba said the key here is for her to really settle into this role and do her thing and go out here and perform the best vault that she can do and take some of that pressure off herself. You're going to see her Chinko full here. Nice block off the horse. A little bit of a pike down. Oh, she tried so hard to hold that landing. She kind of stepped back a little bit, but you can tell she's definitely happy about that. Nice block off the horse. Great height there. There you see just a little pike down, tiny little step on the landing, but she's pretty pumped up about it, dancing there with her teammates.
Got to get the dance moves in. We go now back to bars with Kentucky, and as you can see here, that's just a little bit of a detail on the landings. We'll get back to that in a moment, but the freshman, Ella Warren, for Kentucky on the bars.
Blind change, straddle Jaeger. And you're going to see Jaeger in each of Kentucky's bar routines here. Free hip, shoot over handstand. She's a very dynamic swinger on bars. Nice handstand there. Double layout. Oh, just a little over rotation, step back on the landing. Pretty solid routine there, though, for Kentucky in that second spot.
Yeah, she's following up a 9.85 from Katie Carlisle. Then we'll head back to vault for Auburn, a 9.775 for Katie Becker in that leadoff spot, and then a Miracle Phillips behind her. Now we see Taylor Krippner, and Lauren, she's coming off a major shoulder surgery. They knew she'd start a little slow for this Auburn team.
Yeah, she actually didn't vault until mid-November, so her getting back into this vault lineup was huge for them, and Coach Graba said you're starting to see the old Taylor back again.
A 9.8 for a Miracle Phillips before her.
Nice block off the horse, good amplitude, good speed on that. Just a little hop on the landing. But that overall had good amplitude, and I think one of the stronger vaults in terms of power. Okay, we're gonna see this amplitude here on the meter. Feet above, almost to the 6 foot mark there as the head comes above the horse. Almost completing the full twist there. A little tiny bit of a pike down in the landing, but strong vault there for Taylor Krippner.
Back over to bars for Kentucky, Corey Reckenmacher. She's a worker bee. That's what Tim Garrison calls her.
And last week she had trouble on that Jaeger there, fell off, but she got a little shook up, and she told Coach, I'm ready to go. She had a strong week in practice, so they kept her in the lineup, and so far, solid routine. Long lines from her. I love to see those long lines, especially on bars. Double tuck dismount, going for the stick. You can tell she's definitely happy about that one. Again, last week they had to count 2 falls. So far so good for Kentucky here on bars.
Yeah, she follows up a 9.8 from Ella Warren, the freshman before her, as we head back over to another freshman. This is for Auburn, vaulting Drew Watson, and she was one of the best vaulters in JO. She's going to do a 1.5 here, Lauren.
Yeah, we said before that we have the Yurchenko full as the first 3, and then these 1.5s coming on the tail end of this vault lineup, which is tremendous for Auburn. That's a 10-0 start value, and that's difficult to get. The fulls have been devalued to a 9.95, so in order to get that 10-0, you got to do the Yurchenko full, and let's see how she does. Beautiful lines. Oh, just came up a little bit short there. It looks like she tried to block on that and just came up a little bit short, couldn't spot the landing, little pike down on the landing, and caused her to sit back. She tried to save that landing, but unfortunately wasn't able to do so. So hopefully they can get 2 sticks here on the back end and won't have to count that as a fall.
Yeah, that was following up a 9.775 from Taylor Krippner. We go back over to the bars for Kentucky, Katrina Koka, and she's following up a 9.85 from Corey Reckenmacher. So Kentucky off to a strong start on bars. Like you mentioned, the 2 falls on this event last week doesn't seem to have affected them at all.
No, they really wanted to come back strong. That was difficult for them, kind of pointing to their loss to Florida last week. Nice Jaeger there, as I said. All the girls here on Kentucky's team have the Jaeger. Shoot over to handstand. And you're going to see here a pretty difficult dismount. Full twisting double back for her. Nice swing, building up some momentum. See if she can get the stick. Oh, so close. Just a tiny little step on the landing, but you can tell she's very happy with that bar routine.
Nice lines from her, too. You really see it.
All right, here's the replay on the Jaeger. Nice lines, really stretching that out. Here comes the full twisting double back. Nice height on that dismount, just a little step. But overall, a good start for the top 4 there on Kentucky's lineup.
Here we see Gracie Day for vault for Auburn. Of course, they are going to try to drop the 9.325 from Drew Watson, so a little bit more pressure on Gracie Day. And she trained this vault all last year. She's ready now, Lauren, to show it in competition.
Yeah, building a lot more confidence in this Yurchenko 1.5. Oh, the amplitude on that. And you can tell she's happy about that one. Just a little hop on the landing, but so far that was a tremendous vault, tremendous amplitude on that vault from Gracie Day. We're going to go with the vault meter. Let's check it out. Look at that height there. Wow. A little above that 6 foot mark. And look how straight and up and down she is. And not, oh, wow. Just a little bit hop forward on that landing. And definitely happy about that one.
So here's Alex Highland. She's going to be in all around this week. And Tim Garrison said he texted her after last meet and said, "Are you ready to get back on bars?" She said, "I'm ready." About 3 seconds later, she said, "Put me in, coach."
Put me in, replacing Elena Kwan here in the lineup. This is their first time, as you said, competing all around and trying to build that confidence. Toe shoot to hand. Here comes the giant. Building up that momentum and a full twisting double back. Just a little bit short on the landing, a little hop forward, but overall pretty good momentum on that bar routine, very fluid. Here comes the replay on the dismount, a little piked on those giants. Great release and timing on the dismount there. And again, just a little bit of a hop, but so far, Kentucky really stepped up to the plate in this bar line. I mean, you really have to have that when you come out in this first event to build that momentum and confidence.
Yeah, she was following up, Alex Highland was, Katrina Koka's career high 9.9, and then Gracie Day with a career high 9.85. Now we see Jada Glenn, the freshman, on vault for Auburn.
Jada Glenn with the 1.5, nice amplitude. Oh, she ended up going with the full there, and that's something Jeff Grava said, depending on how things go in the lineup, if they may have to count a fall, she can do a full on this, and it looks like that's what they decided to go with, just with the full, keep it clean, keep it tight. Overall straight lines, just a step back there on the landing, but I think they made the right move there because they certainly wouldn't want to have to count another fall.
Jada Glenn, one of the only gymnasts. It's kind of rare that you see somebody who can have a full just as good as a 1.5. Now we see Molly Korth, the super sophomore who was the SEC Freshman of the Year. She's continued that campaign and really picked up right where she left off. She'll be the anchor on bars, and we'll see her on the anchor at many events for Kentucky. She is so solid. She's a dynamic competitor is what her coach Tim Garrison calls her.
Yeah, and it's really her personality shines through in all the events, and she loves being in the spotlight. This is a fun event for her, and really just great lines, great execution. Ooh, looks like she had to reach a little bit there on the pike Jaeger. Failed a handstand. And she's going to do a full twisting double layout dismount. Watch this dismount. This is extremely difficult to do in the layout position. And it was perfectly straight. Released the bar at the perfect time to get the stick on the landing. Just a tremendous bar worker, tremendous athlete, and really fine-tuning and making those adjustments coming in as a sophomore now that she's got some experience under her belt.
Auburn on vault had 2 career highs with Gracie Day and freshman Jada Glenn. And then, of course, Katrina Koka's career high with a 9.9 on Kentucky's bars rotation. So solid starts for both of these teams as they get ready to head to rotation number 2. We will be back in just a moment. Gracie Day had the amplitude on fire in this vault. Plenty more to come from Auburn Arena as you see how stick straight she was in the air. We'll be back in just a moment with Friday Night Heights. Friday Night Heights continues from Auburn, Kentucky, with a lead after the first rotation over the Auburn Tigers as we welcome you inside Auburn Arena. Laura Rutledge alongside former Rutgers gymnast Lauren Sisler. And we talked about this Kentucky team and some of the youth that they have, but Lauren, they started really making a surge last year when they were able to win the day session at the SEC Championship. Felt like it was real then. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, they were able to post one of their highest scores at regionals as well, but they came up just short in making it to nationals. And Tim Garrison says the goal here is to limit the deductions. 0.15 is what they're looking for, the magic number 197. They believe they can be in that final 12 and make it to NCAA nationals.
You see they're tied for first in the SEC on beam, and in the all-around they're at 3rd place. Second on floor, of course, we'll see them on beam and floor later on in this meet. The Auburn Tigers, very young. They have 7 gymnasts who have never before competed for this team. How is Jeff Grava juggling all of that?
One of the biggest challenges is really switching up the lineup, see who goes where, because you got to have girls that can build that confidence early in the lineup, and that's something he's been moving around, shifting around throughout, and he says there's really been a tremendous leadership from all the girls in the team. They focused on that in the preseason and were able to do so you'll see leadership from the freshmen on up to the upperclassmen.
We've seen so much out of these teams already, and plenty more to come from Auburn. We will see Molly Korth on vault. She won this event last week. Sam Serio, she will head to the bars. She ranks 12th nationally on bars. We'll be back in just a moment. Friday Night Heights continues on the Plains. Kentucky with a lead by 25/10 of a point over Auburn after the first rotation. We head to rotation number 2 in just a moment, but gymnastics taking over the SEC network every Friday night. Next week, we'll have number 5 Florida, number 16 Auburn at Auburn Arena right here, 7 p.m. Eastern. And after that one, it's the 6th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats and number 2 LSU at the Pete Maravich Center in Baton Rouge. Friday Night Heights also streaming live on the ESPN app. And we head to Vault right now with Kentucky. Alex Highland will lead it off, and this is her first time back in all-around, as we've told you. Landing is the biggest thing with her, the emphasis there from Tim Garrison.
Yeah, and this year Chinko full, you always want consistency at the top of this, and the stuck landings, and she's been consistent all season. Oh, just a little bit of a leg bend there on the landing and a hop back. Not quite the landing that they were looking for, but a strong enough start that'll bring in a decent score.
Now we go over to bars for Auburn. Drew Watson, the freshman, of course, she did have a vault that she'd probably like to forget. So now she has an opportunity to show what she's all about on bars as she gets started here, Lauren.
And last week, she fell on this handstand to open things, a little too aggressive. Sometimes that adrenaline can get you going, and that's one thing Jeff Graba's really focused on with these girls. He said they've kind of gone off to a slow start this season, and then they pick things up here in the 2nd and 3rd rotation, so he wants to see them go strong throughout the entire meet. The Tkachev there and release move. Bail to handstand. Nice form. See if she can hit that handstand. Solid handstand. Full twisting double back, going for that stuck landing. Her chest just a little bit down, but she stuck the landing, and a good start on bars, and of course overcoming that fall on vault. And here is the handstand meter, just right in that green zone, a little above 80 degrees, right where she needs to be. And probably trying not to be too aggressive like she was last week. Solid full twisting double back. Again, just a little bit down on the chest, but she stuck the landing. Again, hopefully a good score there.
Back over to vault for Kentucky. Katrina Koka providing consistency in the 2nd spot, following up a 9.75 from Alex Highland.
Nice amplitude, just a little bit too much power, a little pike down there on that. She competed as a freshman, but didn't compete in vault last year, so they really were looking for consistency, and her getting back into the lineup there. Again, just a little hop on the landing. Hopefully they can nail these things down.
A 9.875 from Drew Watson on the bars. And here's Taylor Krippner. This is her debut on bars. And Jeff Graves said it's sort of a risk. They'd like to have gotten her an exhibition, but here they go. She, of course, coming off that very significant shoulder surgery, and she can show so much finesse on this event.
Yeah, and she's finally training those full sets in practice, feeling confident, comfortable. Able to handstand there. Nice lines. Look at that toe point. What a beautiful gymnast.
It's my favorite
That's where
thing.
she really shines. I know.
So pretty.
She goes with the Tkachev to handstand. Full twisting double back. Beautiful stick. That was a beautiful routine. I know she's so excited to be back in the lineup after that shoulder surgery, and really showed her ability as a gymnast, that like finesse, like you said, Laura. Here comes the full twisting double back, the beautiful stuck landing. Great height, great amplitude there. Definitely a good start here for the Auburn Tigers on bars.
On vault, Kentucky looking to make up a little ground. The 9.675 from Katrina Koka. Here comes Sydney Dukes. She has a difficult vault to land. It's gotten bigger though.
Yep, here comes the blind landing, the half, just a little tiny hop, but man, was she straight. You can tell she was happy about that one. Coach said Sydney Dukes, he really likes her a lot here, bringing a lot of experience to the lineup. And again, says you got the finesse coming on these first 3 vaults. There she is, a little bit above the 5-foot mark, straight down on the landing. That blind landing, though, so difficult to land, just a tiny little step, but you could tell she was definitely happy about that one.
Here comes Kendall Moss following up the 9.85 from Taylor Krippner. They like her in the 3 spot, and they are tinkering with the 4, 5, and 6 spots. We'll see that changed up a little bit here tonight for Auburn.
There's the free hip to Ginger. Wow, that was beautiful. Great lines there. Nice handstand. Nice bail to handstand. And here on this dismount, another difficult dismount, you're gonna see a double layout here from Kendall Moss, the sophomore. She really lays it out. Beautiful lines, really extends herself there on the bars.
Gymnasties love it.
Here comes the Ginger, really reaches for it. Beautiful lines, and here comes the double layout. Let's watch this again. Lays it out so perfectly, just a tiny little step.
We go back over to vault for Kentucky, and Dinah Davis. She's following up Sydney Duke's 9.85, which is a career high on vault. This is a big vault, or Yurchenko full.
Yeah, you're gonna see some amplitude here from Danae. Wow. And she goes for the landing. Lots of amplitude on this vault. Coach said she really blocks off that horse, and as you can see right there at the 6-foot mark, huge amplitude, just a little bit of execution there on the legs. Of course, with that knee brace, sometimes it's hard to really get those legs together, but beautiful vault.
Abby Millay now for bars for Auburn. Of course, she's coming off a season-ending knee injury from last season. Also following up a 9.825 from Kendall Moss. All 9.8 and above for Auburn on this bars rotation.
So great to see her back. One of her favorite skills coming up. Tkachev there. Toe hand to Ray, one of her favorite skills, and then the pack salto. Beautiful handstands, beautiful toe point. I really like her lines on this event. Perfect handstand. Blind change to the double tuck. Oh, going for the stuck landing, not quite. She kind of rocked back there a little bit, but overall, a clean, solid routine. Here comes that first handstand. Wow.
That's like absolutely perfect to the protractor.
Perfect protractor. Here comes the handstand. Blind change, right to the double tuck. Good height on that. Looked like she just tried to stick it, kind of stuck her butt out there a little bit and couldn't quite hold on to it.
A couple of career highs on vault for Kentucky with Sydney Dukes and Danae Davis. Now Aubrey Rosa coming up. She stuck this 2 weeks ago at Arkansas. We'll see what she can do here.
Chinko full there. Nice little hop on the landing. She's definitely happy about that. One of the bigger vaults, and as Coach said, you're gonna see a lot more power in these last 3 vaults from his lineup. That's what they're really going for, a lot of power with these Yurchenko fulls. Not much of a jump there at all. And again, that's a start value of a 9.95, and so they're really trying to be as clean as possible on those landings so that they can get the highest score possible.
Let's see what Gracie Day has for Auburn. She's always dancing and jazzing it up.
Hey, you know what her favorite color is?
What?
Gracie Day's favorite color is glitter. Can you imagine that?
I wasn't aware that was a color, but now I am.
And she's got it on the eyes, around the face. But that's her personality, man. She's got some sass.
She's following up Abby Millay's season high 9.875.
Wow, look at that handstand. Beautiful toe point. Toe handstand, toe half. Here comes the Jaeger to handstand to bail. Now watch this dismount. This is one of the more difficult dismounts you can do on bars. It's the double Arabian, and the blind landing is so tremendously difficult. Looked like she over-rotated just a tiny bit. Look at this handstand. My goodness, that is beautiful. Right there, almost at the 90 mark. Here comes the Jaeger. Just a beautiful straddle there. And here comes the dismount. Again, this double Arabian, taking that small step. That is such a difficult dismount, but she's very consistent with it.
Now anchoring this vault lineup for Kentucky, Molly Korth, the 10.0 start value, last year's freshman of the year. Here she goes.
Comes Yurchenko 1.5. Nice amplitude on that vault, just a little step in it. You can tell it wasn't perfect. You could see the look on her face. She wanted that stuck landing, but overall, great vault from Molly Korth, and really just picking up where she left off last season on this event.
We saw the back half of that Kentucky vault lineup, really all power. The first 3 are more finesse. The power very evident, though, of those last 3 as we head back over to bars for Auburn. Sam Serio anchoring for the first time tonight on this event, but averages 9.892 on bars.
Yeah, and this is Sam Serio's favorite event. She loves the bars here. Jeff wanted to put her in this spot and see how she handles that pressure. That eagle grip right there, that is something you don't see a lot of. It's the Higgins inverted grip. Very difficult to hold onto the bar like that. Shoot over to handstand. She's close there on her handstands. Giant full, double tuck dismount and goes for the stick. Great bar routine. I'd say she handled the pressure really well. Again, here comes the Higgins and the Pike Jaeger. Here comes the giant full, stuck the dismount perfectly. Good way to close out this bar lineup for Auburn, and certainly a good way to start the first half of this meet for Auburn and Kentucky.
Our second rotation.
Plenty more to come right here from Auburn on Friday Night Heights. When we come back, we'll tell you about Abby Millay from Auburn fighting back from injury, how she did it to get back to this point. Kentucky still with a slight lead over Auburn, but Auburn making up some ground. We've got so much to tell you about this Auburn team. An injury, a part of gymnastics, but Abby Millay has figured out how to handle all of it with such grace and leadership.
I warmed up my first vault and it wasn't that great, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do another one just to really make sure, because that vault's still like new for me. And so I went. I honestly don't know really what happened. When I hit the ground, I hyperextended it and stuff, so I guess I wasn't ready for the landing. It started to hit me. I wasn't crying because of the pain, I was more just crying because I knew what it meant. I really had to try and be more vocal as a leader, and it was definitely a role change. It was very challenging because I was definitely not what I was used to. Coming back, I can do both. Like now I can contribute and also lead with words. It feels very good. Well, it's still a little like, that memory will probably never go away, but every day is just a new day to try and get better, try to conquer that fear and just contribute as much as I can and hopefully do all four.
Abby's teammates say that they've seen her grow so much. Obviously, you never want to miss a season due to injury, but that time has helped her immensely. We will see her when we come back for rotation 3. She'll be on the beam, and Kentucky heads to the floor with a slight lead. We'll be back in just a moment. Back here in Auburn, and let's take a look who's taking the next step. Brought to you by Regions Bank. The Kentucky Wildcats. This is what the 6th-ranked Wildcats' upcoming schedule looks like. Next week at 2nd-ranked LSU. That will be a tough one, but one that they could make a big statement in. And then you see Ohio State. That's an interesting one, March 2nd. But lots of ranked teams in the SEC, Lauren, so it's kind of a gauntlet as you go through.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch these SEC teams really rise to the challenge, and all these coaches love that competition, that they can travel and see that type of competition here within the conference.
Both of these teams having big meets tonight. You saw the season high there for Kentucky and also career highs. We head to rotation 3, and this is Allie Riddle on the beam for Auburn, and she's a walk-on from the Mobile area, a very solid leadoff.
Yeah, she loves this leadoff spot here. She embraces this challenge of being that competitor that's relied upon to be consistent here in that opening spot. Back handspring, layout, step out. Nice form there. There's the full turn. Oh, the ever so lovely full turn. That's a requirement that can make or break a beam routine, unfortunately.
Yeah, remember, it's 4 inches wide and 4 feet tall, people. Crazy.
A little crazy. This girl here, though, she's a walk-on from Mobile, Alabama, and really capable of a high score. Switch leap, switch side. Watch this dismount. Cat leap, aerial, back full, going for the stuck landing. Great start for the Auburn Tigers. Again, you really want somebody that's consistent. She was very fluid in that entire beam routine. Here comes the dismount, cat leap, aerial, tuck full, going for the landing. You can tell she's definitely happy about that one.
And as we mentioned, Auburn gaining on Kentucky a little bit heading into this third rotation. Of course, Kentucky heading to the floor. They will finish on beam. And we start with Katie Stewart. She moves well, according to Coach Tim Garrison. Not a ton of flash, but watch for the way that she moves in this routine to lead them off.
Yeah, and very consistent competitor here in this spot. I always love the floor exercise. It gives these girls a chance to come out and really show their personality. And you can see the girls on the side doing the dance moves with her to get this thing started. The double pike to open up, solid landing there. Always want to start off with that adrenaline, but sometimes too much adrenaline can throw you out of bounds, so certainly you have to be careful of that, but love the dance moves, a little bit of the hip wave. Again, this is an opportunity to really show your personality. Second tumbling pass, 1.5 front layout, and there she goes, stepping out of bounds.
She's
That's
done
going to
that
be a
warm-ups
deduction.
a couple times too. It's hard when you're competing on a floor that is not your home floor to get your bearings a little bit.
Yep, it's hard to get your bearings because sometimes floors can be a little bit bouncier, or if you're trying to compensate, if they're a little bit harder. And, you know, the over-rotation was very apparent there, and it looked like she kind of overextended herself. And that will be a deduction. Here comes the final tumbling pass. Front handspring, front Rudy to front 1.5 in the laid out position. Nice landing and good finish for her again. That stepping out of bounds will be a deduction for this floor routine, but she rebounded well. First pass here, nice double pike, great landing, solid first pass. Here we're gonna go look at the second pass on the replay. 1.5 front layout. It just looks like she kind of took off forward on that front layout. Couldn't quite spot the mat, wasn't there right in the corner.
Back over to beam for the Auburn Tigers, like we said, trying to make up some ground against Kentucky in this third rotation. They'll have to do it on beam, but Sam Serio, so solid in this second spot. She averages 9.8 on the year on the beam.
A little balance check there. She does that press handstand mount, though. It's always so beautiful. Switch side lead. So much confidence here. She competed in the third spot last week, but as we said, Jeff Graba really trying to switch up the lineups and see who can go where and really score that top, that top spot. Because these scores start to climb throughout the lineup and the rotation.
Yeah, Allie Riddle before Sam Serio with a 9.85. That's a season high for her.
And they want to start out strong and just build from there. Had a couple of balance checks here, trying to calm her nerves. It looks like kind of going in and out of her skill set, a little wobbly. Front layout full, step on the dismount. Again, just a few balance checks in that beam routine, not quite as solid and fluid as maybe she'd want to see, but she stayed on the beam, that's the important part, and certainly could build from there.
We go back to floor for the Kentucky Wildcats, and look at Haley Poland, her blue lipstick, that's her trademark. It's all about her personality. Watch for the eye contact she makes with everyone. Now that's easy to do at home. On the road, you're making eye contact with a lot of people other than your teammates that you don't know.
And you can see that she knows exactly where those cameras are going to be. Here on floor, points of emphasis, you want to see the tumbling, the amplitude, the difficulty in those tumbling passes, those dance elements, getting that height and really getting that extension in the legs and the 180-degree splits. Front tuck to Rudy, nice opening pass there. And again, her personality really shows on this event. Coach said she knows exactly where to find those cameras, knows exactly where to look, right in the judge's eyes. She's got the little shimmy, shimmy, shake, shake going on. Always entertaining and fun to watch. Goes for her second tumbling pass. And actually, she only has 2 tumbling passes, which it's not required to do 3 tumbling passes, depending on the difficulty. A front double full, very difficult element there. She fulfills all the requirements and all the bonus that she needs for that. Nice split there.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost an overextension of that flexibility there in that second leap move.
Wildcat scratch.
Getting into it. I love it. Coach said she's so wild. Sometimes like she'll just come off the bar to the floor and just kick her leg right at the right time. And she just always has that sort of personality and sass, whether she's out here on the competition floor or in the gym during practice.
Haley Poland.
Here comes the first pass, one of two tumbling passes here again for Haley Poland. Front tuck, front handspring, right to the Rudy. Nice extension again, we said, almost inverted there on the switch leap straddle above a 180-degree angle. That takes a lot of flexibility. I was never good at the straddles for some reason.
Now next we're going to see Meredith Sylvia on beam, and here's your points of emphasis for beam, Lauren.
Yeah, you really want to look for these connections. That's the big part with a lot of these dance moves, the acro series, making sure they're connecting. Obviously the fluidity, the confidence can be seen as they move up and down the balance beam. Nice aerial there. And that's the key here, is really to just maintain that confidence, especially here early in the lineup, because, a lot is riding on this event. It's one of those make or break events. You can go out here and train it all day long, and yet still there's so much risk involved, as we said before. Such a narrow thing to compete on and to flip around on, and obviously those blind landings can be difficult sometimes.
She is following up a 9.85 from Allie Riddle and a 9.8 from Sam Serio.
And this is Sylvia's favorite event. She loves competing here on the beam. Nice sheep jump there. We talked about this early. The sheep jump is very difficult because it is the blind landing.
And you take your eyes off the beam, looking into the air. Or I guess looking at your feet.
There's the cartwheel, gainer full off the side of the balance beam, and solid routine overall. This was actually the first time for her competing last week against UGA, so only her second time up on the balance beam, and overall a fairly confident routine. Again, cartwheel, layout, gainer full, just a tiny little hop on the landing, but overall pretty solid routine for her.
Back over to floor for Kentucky, and Haley Poland with 9.85, which is a career high. Now we'll see Ella Warren, the freshman, who continues to be so impressive. This is a more dramatic routine, very clean tumbling coming from that elite world.
Yeah, this is one of those girls you're going to see just moves with such ease. Watch this first tumbling pass, front handspring, front double. Again, a very difficult tumbling pass, and she just kind of floats through the air. I love like you said, the dramatic dance moves that she performs with here. And one thing with Ella Warren, she did not get to practice in the preseason with this team, and that was something that Molly Korth experienced last year. She experienced it this year, and they really leaned on each other. Molly Korth's dad, Kevin, said that they've kind of really bonded to each other and trying to get acclimated to what it's like to compete in the college ranks, because it is so different. Second tumbling pass, front handspring, front Rudy layout. I thought for a minute there she was going to go out of bounds, but she saved it. She will do a third tumbling pass here. She does all front tumbling passes, which I think is very interesting. Front handspring, front full, front layout to close things out. Overall, a very solid routine. Great form, great execution. You can definitely tell she's happy about that one. Good way to start things off there in the third spot in the first half of the lineup for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Back over to the beam for the Auburn Tigers, and we'll see Emma Slappy here. She's following up Meredith Sylvia's 9.85. So all the scores so far on Auburn's beam rotation above 9.8. It's impressive considering they are trying to make up some ground here, and it's never easy to make up ground on beam. But this Auburn team has a ton of confidence on beam, and they say it's one of their best events.
Yeah, absolutely one of their best events, and it really shows. Like you said, you can see the confidence in their face. You can always tell when a gymnast gets up there and that they're prepared for the routine and kind of shake the nerves off a little bit. And that's what Jeff Graba said, they've really started to shine here in the back half of the competition. Oh, little balance check there on the back handspring layout, step out. She held on to it. always tough to do. You always see the girls grip the beam with their toes, trying with all their might to stay on. That'll probably be a 10th or 2 deduction there. Switch leap, switch half. Cat leap, aerial, back full dismount. We saw that same combination earlier in the meet, but she's been a fixture there in the 4th spot. Here comes the back handspring layout. Just a little, you could see a little off to the right side there. Little misdirection. Here comes the dismount again. There she goes for the stuck landing. Again, that'll be a little bit of deduction there. A couple tenths there on the balance check on that acro series, but she recovered well.
To floor for Kentucky, Alex Highland is next, and this is fun, playful. She goes forward with cartwheels in this and then rewinds it. This is before her last pass. We got to pay attention for that because it's really a fun part of this routine.
Yeah, and this is another routine. You'll see just 2 tumbling passes. Again, not a deduction. It's not a requirement to do 2 tumbling passes or 3 tumbling passes. Nice double pike to start it off. And she always has that big smile on her face, and I know she's really excited to be back here competing again in the all-around. Torchete, half wolf, 1.5. Little mambo number 5. Laura, I could see you out here shaking it to some mambo number 5.
Yeah, I am shaking it over here.
All right, here comes what you were talking about before, where she goes forward and then backwards, right before her last pass. Hold on. There it comes.
There we go.
All right, and then she's gonna reverse it. Coach said it's funny because a lot of people haven't quite caught on to the creativity that goes along with this, but I think that's pretty darn cool.
It's like on social media when you rewind your Snapchat or your Instagram. It's
That's
pretty
right,
cool.
yes.
You just did that in real life.
Kind of like a little boomerang action. Final pass here, back 1.5, front layout. Very clean routine, solid routine overall. Great performance there by Alex Highland in the 4th spot. Here comes the replay on the first pass. Nice, solid double pike. Great landing. And then here we go. The rerun, rewind, reverse, reverse. That's what I think about in my head.
Next up on B for your Auburn Tigers.
Again, I love the creative aspect of that floor routine.
We'll see Abby Millay next on beam for Auburn, and we mentioned how Auburn kind of chasing Kentucky coming into this score-wise. So they would actually need to drop Emma Slappy's beam score of 9.675 to stay in this. A little bit more pressure now, that means, on Abby Millay, but she has been very solid on beam lately.
Yeah, and there she mounted with the front tuck mount, which is a very difficult mount. Again, that blind landing. The acro series, that was a back handspring layout, step out. Very solid there, and you can just see she's so fluid on this event. Great flexibility there. Love her toe point and the artistry in this.
We told you about her coming back from a season-ending knee injury last year. That happened on vault. She's got a ton of confidence on all these events, though.
There goes the sheep jump again. Always want to make sure you're coming down directly on top of the beam. Cat leap, gainer full off to the side. Beautiful landing. And you can see she's got some pep in her step. Great solid routine there in the 5th spot for this Auburn team. All right, look at this mount. Again, it's the front tuck mount. Nailed it. And here's that sheep jump we were talking about. Split jump, sheep jump, and you got to be dead on right there. Here comes the cat leap, side gainer, laid out, perfect landing. I love how she just extends herself there when she salutes the judges. She knows when she's done a good routine.
That was exactly what Auburn needed. Now as we go back to floor for Kentucky with Molly Korth, a little battle for the 5th and 6th spot between Molly Korth and Sydney Dukes. And Korth at 5. By the way, so far on floor, all athletes have had season or career highs. So an incredible meet so far on the road for the Kentucky Wildcats.
All right, opening tumbling pass here from Molly Korth. And she went with a double tuck to start things off. And again, that competition you were talking about in that 5th and 6th spot with Sydney Dukes, no reason that she's really in the 5th spot other than Sydney Dukes has really worked hard as a junior to earn that anchor spot. Molly Korth, as we said earlier, loves the spotlight. She loves to be out here performing. You can just tell she has such a great time. Front handspring, front Rudy, back layout, step out.
Sometimes it helps to be able to compete with somebody on your team. It's obviously a very healthy competition between these two, but they're pushing each other to get that much better.
Yeah, and one thing they said about the leaders on this team, Coach actually didn't name team captains. What he did is he conducted a 6-question poll and said, okay, some of the questions included, okay, who would you rely on most to go out there and compete when things are on the line? Who do you look up to outside of the gym? And the 3 gymnasts that were chosen, Molly Korth, Sydney Dukes, and Alex Highland. Here comes that final pass, the double pike. Oop, just a little bit short, just a slight bounce forward on that. Looks like she couldn't quite get her chest up, but overall, a pretty solid routine. We're gonna take another look at this first pass on the replay. Double tuck to open, solid landing, and then here comes the double pike, and we'll show you her takeoff. Her chest just a little bit low, almost like she opened up a little too soon. Couldn't quite rotate it all the way around, pike down a little bit on that landing. But overall, pretty solid routine.
Yeah, some of these gymnasts, too, still looking for endurance at this time of the year. As we go back to Auburn on the beam, Taylor Krippner, this is her favorite event, and she loves being the anchor. She savors these moments, and actually last week had a great score at Georgia with the crowd going wild for Georgia's floor routine.
That's right. And she loves being able to be put in that position.
Ooh.
Oh,
that's very rare for her.
very rare. Cat leap front aerial. She looked like she was just dropped her shoulder there on that. She's back up there though. You can see that confidence on her face. She's gonna finish this up. Switch lead, split jump. She just moves so fluid on this event. It looks like she's walking on water, and again, that's really difficult to do, opening up with that fall the way that she did, but to be able to get back up there and compete like she is, taking her time, moving through each motion. That was a back handspring, back layout, acro series, round off, 1.5, dismount, stuck landing. You know, again, unfortunate she fell on that skill, but if you would have taken that skill out of there, it looked as though that routine was near perfect. Again, cat leap here. It just looked like she dropped that shoulder a little bit there on the right side. Second look at that. Oh, you could just see she was off. Her foot was not quite aligned with the balance beam. But she goes for the stick on the dismount. Beautiful landing. And again, she's you know, able to get back up there as a junior, had experience, and being able to close things out like that, very important.
That finishes the beam rotation in this third rotation for Auburn. Before Taylor Krippner was Abby Malay's 9-9. Now to Sydney Dukes anchoring this Kentucky floor rotation.
And Sydney Dukes really working hard, relishing in this role. She's got this personality, always looks like she's having a good time. I love her little dance moves there. Opening tumbling pass, double pike, solid landing there. And you might be wondering why that mat there is on the floor. That extra padding is good for the ankles. You can see she's got some tape there on that right ankle, and sometimes when you land a little shorter crunch, it can hurt a little bit more. So no deduction though for having the extra mat on the floor. That was a switch ring to a switch half. She'll go here into her second tumbling pass. Front handspring, front full, front layout. Stepping right out of that, dancing her way through this routine.
Coach Garrison said it's truly a performance. You can almost get lost in this routine. She does connect everything so well with this choreography.
I know, I love her little dance moves. I even love just the way she almost flicks her hands there.
Lots of style.
Lots of style. Here comes the final tumbling pass. Double tuck. Nice landing, chest just a little bit down on that, but a solid landing. She's definitely happy about that floor routine, closing things out for the Kentucky Wildcats. Here comes the final pass once again. You'll see chest down just a tiny bit. But overall, great floor routine, great way to close things out. And now Kentucky's got to head over to the balance beam.
Yeah, and Molly Korth before Sydney Dukes with a 9.8. So Sydney Dukes only needed a 9.6 to keep the lead. She definitely got a 9.6. Coming up after our meet at 10, Oklahoma, the #1 ranked team in the country, taking on the Florida Gators in Gainesville. This is coming up following us. Maggie Nichols, the star for the Sooners, the reigning national champs. They'll be on our air next. Kentucky still leading 16th ranked Auburn here at Auburn as we head into the 4th rotation. And Tim Garrison has had lots of success with early enrollees at Kentucky. Here's how Molly Korth decided to go to the Wildcats.
I got a phone call when I was sitting in the computer lab at high school from my dad. And he goes, I think we're gonna have you graduate early from high school and head to college a semester early. And I was like, you can do that? I was like, are you sure that's allowed? And it's what I've been wanting to do my entire life. I was really nervous when I first got here. I was ready for the change though, and I was ready to just get out of the house and like kind of experience life on my own. I think about 3 weeks into my season, I realized that I could actually do this. I realized that all my nerves could just go away and that it was actually gonna be okay, you know? I wasn't that homesick, probably because all of the success and all of my teammates. I was just so excited to be here.
I think she had somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 or so practices before her first competition and just lit it up. And really never let up all season long. She had an incredible impact on our team. She brought that, you can call it swagger, you can call it confidence, you can call it whatever you like. She brought that to our team and helped our team embrace that.
You'd never know that Molly Korth is only a sophomore. She has the presence and leadership of a veteran. It's fun that we'll get to see her for a couple more years. We also get to see her on the beam next for Kentucky, as well as her teammate Sydney Dukes. And then to the floor goes Auburn, Abby Millay, ready to rock it in front of this home crowd. Big night for both of these teams tonight as we head into the 4th rotation with Kentucky having the lead over Auburn. 2 career highs for the Wildcats, 7 season highs, and then for Auburn, 9 season highs. So they have some ground to make up here on floor if they're going to get the win tonight. But either way, a lot to build on for both of these sides as we head now to beam for the Kentucky Wildcats. And here's Katie Stewart at the leadoff spot. One of the things that Tim Garrison said is that the team trusts her, but also she trusts herself in this spot.
And that's key, to get up there and know that you're out there competing for your team, but that confidence level has to be up there. There's that lovely full turn, once again, a requirement in the beam routine. Sometimes it can make or break you. Here comes the switch leap, stag jump. You can definitely see that confidence in her face. Very fluid in this beam routine so far. Here comes the acro series, back handspring, layout, step out. Solid acro series there. Love the flexibility. Wow, that is impressive. Woo. That is strong. Cat jump. Aerial tucked full off the end of the beam for the dismount. Oh, just rocked back a little bit on her heels, going for the stuck landing. Almost, but not quite. Okay, check this out. There's gotta be a name for that. That is impressive. And to do that on the balance beam, my goodness.
Call it.
Back full, going for the stuck again, just rocked back a little bit on her heels. She says, darn, I almost had it.
In
So
ballet,
close.
we call that Alice Cone stretch and then maybe a little tilt forward.
I call that pain.
Yeah,
Ow.
exactly.
Ow.
Auburn hits the floor in this 4th and final rotation, and here's Ashley Smith to lead things off.
Yeah, Ashley Smith actually coming in as the alternate on floor to start things off. She's a freshman. Now she's in the leadoff spot. Emma Slappy being taken out of the lineup. Double pike there. Nice landing. All right, here comes the second tumbling pass for Ashley. Back 1.5, front layout right to the Shushanova. She says, let me fan myself off.
She actually wanted to be a vet growing up. She even had a petting zoo at one of her birthday parties.
What? A petting zoo. If I had a petting zoo at a birthday party, I'd go with the giraffe. That would be a cool pet to have, even though impossible.
That's an intense animal to pet. I don't know if they bring those in regular petting zoos.
Probably not. It would be cool, though. All right, here comes that third tumbling pass here for Ashley Smith. Double tuck. Just a little low on the landing there. But overall, a solid start. Going with her in the leadoff spot. Just had a better warm-up. First tumbling pass here. Double pike. Just a little separation there in the legs, but straight legs, good landing. And here comes the second pass, the round off 1.5, front layout right into the Shushanova. And the little fan move. And here's that final pass. The double tuck. Just a little cowboy on that. That's what we call when they separate their legs on the double tuck just to get the rotation around.
Molly Korth mounting the beam for Kentucky. Laura Rutledge and Lauren Sisler here with you on Friday Night Heights as Kentucky continues trying to hold on to their lead on the road here. And this is a nice 1-2 punch for the Wildcats. Katie Stewart, the leadoff with a 9.75. Molly Korth, very solid in the second spot.
Check out this acro series. This is not a regular back handspring. This is a one-armed back handspring into the back handspring. The layout step out there, very impressive, very difficult skill to do one-armed. Molly Korth showing some confidence. Beam, of course, she's second here in the lineup as an all-around competitor. Looked like she had a little balance check there, trying to go for the connection. We'll see if they give that to her with the back tuck. But this is certainly one of those events that can be difficult for any gymnast. And you get up there and you train all week long. You can hit 5 for 5 in the gym, and then sometimes you get out here in competition and those nerves can get the best of you just the slightest bit off. But so far, so good. Double full, stuck landing. She's pretty pumped up about it. Check out this one-arm back handspring. Wow. Dead on there. And here comes the dismount. You get the round off, double full. Great landing. She's definitely pumped up about it. Great way to start off the lineup.
Back over to floor for the Auburn Tigers, and Ashley Smith in that leadoff spot, who was inserted as the alternate with a season-high 9.85. Skylar Shepard coming in. They're trying to get her some experience, and Jeff Graves said, look, you can't get experience sitting on the bench. We're going to keep throwing her out there. She did make a small mistake on her first pass last week. We'll see what she does this time.
Yeah, and last week's season debut, career debut. But yeah, like you said, they've got to see what they're capable of. It's hard to replicate things in practice, so you got to put them out on the floor, see how things go with the adrenaline. Wow, triple full to open her floor routine. Very difficult tumbling pass, and I think one of the only competitors out here tonight that you'll see a triple full from. I like her long lines. Ooh, 1.5. Looks like she bottomed out a little bit there on that 1.5 to the punch front. I think she was supposed to do a 1.5 front layout in that tumbling pass, but it looks like she couldn't get her feet out from under her. Her legs buckled. Very unfortunate for them here in that second spot in the lineup.
At this point in the season, though, so much is based around getting that experience, seeing who you have, seeing who can compete and how they bounce back if there are mistakes.
Absolutely. Here comes the final tumbling pass. Double full to the punch front. Finishing that very nicely. Again, trying to rebound from that fall can be difficult, especially on the floor exercise when you kind of run out of steam. You try to use some momentum there, but hopefully they can bounce back and not have to count that fall.
We'll go back over to beam for the Kentucky Wildcats. Haley Boland here, and she has so much personality. Coach Garrison said sometimes after an event or after she gets off of an apparatus, she'll just break out the whip and nae-nae, because why not? One of her favorite songs, Ice Ice Baby. And sometimes at home, that will be the song that she is hearing while she's on the beam. Of course, that's not the case on the road, but very confident and full of personality.
Yeah, not the case here. Just a little bit slower and more somber. Ice Ice Baby, for the record, Laura, is the only song that I karaoke, and I know every single word, even got the little kick move.
We're going to have to see that in action.
Maybe one of these days. Here she goes for the acro series. 2 back handsprings into the layout, step out, solid start for Haley Poland there. And again, her personality really shines through, and you can see that in the confidence level. 1 arm front handspring. I love the way she uses her arm. She's got just great flow. Switch lead. Stag jump. Overall, a very solid routine so far.
She performs this too. Doesn't necessarily look like all beam routines, the way that she connects everything with her hands.
And that's when you know a gymnast is really solid on beam, when they can act like they're on the floor. Gainer pike off the end of the beam. Nice landing for her. You can tell they are definitely fired up about that one and showing a lot of confidence here late. It's hard to do this balance beam here in the last event. A lot of nerves. 3 skill series there. Back handspring, layout, step out, and here comes the gainer pike off the end of the balance beam and the stuck landing. Solid start so far for the Kentucky Wildcats there on beam.
Next up for your Tigers.
She was following up Molly Korth's 9.7 and, of course, Katie Stewart's 9.75 before that. Now over to floor again for the Auburn Tigers. Here's Katie Becker.
Now, Katie Becker, you're going to watch this. She describes this routine as if she's a dancing girl emoji. We all know everyone likes to use emojis these days. I don't know about you, Laura, but I use emojis here and there. I try not to overdo it. First tumbling pass, the double back. Nice, solid landing.
I'm always a fan of emojis, for the record.
It adds a little personality, you know. She's in this 3rd spot, coming off that fall before her from Skylar Shepard. So be interesting to see how this Auburn team bounces back, hoping to not have to count that fall. See, she's trying to breathe here and get ready for this 2nd tumbling pass, trying to keep her energy level up. Double pike. A little bit of a chest low on that landing, but pretty good height on that. Oh, that was a really cool move.
She is following up Skylar Shepard's 9.175. As you mentioned, they want to drop that ball.
Hoping to drop that. 1.5 front tuck. Oh, looked like she almost went out of bounds. Skirted the line a little bit, but I think she was in. Finished that routine up very nicely, and again, way to rebound. Definitely don't want to count a fall on floor, and hopefully they can finish that up. All right, let's take a look at that last pass again. Let's see if she went out of bounds. She did the front tuck. It almost looked like she was trying to lay it out, but no, she stayed in bounds. You can touch the white line, you just can't go out of the white line.
I think gymnasts have eyes in their toes trying to stay in bounds like that on the floor. It's incredible. Up next for Kentucky on the beam, Elena Kwan. She's following up a 9.85, which is a season high from Haley Poland, and she moves well on the beam. Great amplitude in her skills to watch for.
Yeah, and Elena Kwan, not so much experience, but she's really settled into this role on balance beam. A little bit of a balance check. It looked like she overturned that full turn just a little bit too much. Here comes the acro series. Back handspring, layout, step out. Solid finish there. A little smile on her face. Now this is the only event she was competing tonight. She was taken out of the bar lineup, but she's such a strong competitor here on the beam. So much confidence in her. And it really shows here. Now one thing you'll notice, Tim Garrison might be the head coach of this team, but his wife Rachel Garrison, in her 3rd year as an assistant, she actually coaches the beam. And Coach Garrison says she likes to keep a long leash on them, and what he means by that is kind of let them shake things out if they're having a bad day. You know, let them kind of get settled down and let them do their thing. Nice dismount there, stuck landing on the tuck full.
We've already seen some excellent gymnastics here in Auburn, and coming up following us, Alex McMurtry and the Florida Gators, the 5th-ranked team, taking on the #1 Oklahoma Sooners, the defending champs, in Gainesville. We'll see Alex McMurtry and what she can do. Not quite ready to compete in the all-around yet, but that is available. This Florida team, much deeper than they have been in the past. As we're back to Auburn on the floor, Samantha Serio coming in. And she's somebody who they can really rely on to get things going. She wants to design airplanes for the Air Force or commercial use, by the way, when she's into her career.
I'd say she is one smart cookie. You'll see this flexibility is incredible. And one thing she says she likes to show here in this floor routine is her inner struggle with character. That's sort of the character she takes on when she performs this routine. First tumbling pass, the double pike. A little bit of a bounce back there, but she stayed in bounds, and some good height and amplitude on that one. See, working the audience there a little bit. See the gymnasties back there enjoying themselves as well.
The gymnasties know a lot of these floor routines, or at least part of them, so they will start to participate, which is always interesting considering some of them are wearing very short shorts.
I was gonna say, the attire says it all. The short shorts, the cowboy boots, painted chest. They show up in droves. Here comes her second tumbling pass. Front handspring, front full to front pike, right into an immediate whoop jump there. Whoa, look at the slide. I love this routine. I think she just shows so much personality and pizzazz and that finesse. There's a final tumbling pass. Front Rudy, also known as a front 1.5. Nice solid finish there for Samantha Serio, a junior.
Gymnasties won a 10.
They won a 10. Yes, they do. First tumbling pass here, the double pike. Again, just a little bounce back on the landing, but she saved it. Last tumbling pass, the front Rudy. Jumps right out of that one. Finishes solid floor routine there in that 4th spot. And again, Jeff Graba just shifting things out and seeing who can come up with those top scores.
We see Sydney Dukes now on the beam for Kentucky. She's solid, so comfortable here. No fear or concern. We see her just having fun on this event.
Yeah, Sydney Dukes back-to-back 9.9s on balance beam. Let's see if she can make it 3 in a row. You know, in bowling, I think they call that a turkey, right?
Ooh.
You get 3 strikes in a row.
Gobble,
Let's see if she can get 3 9 nines. Nice back handspring layout, step out. And that smile on her face says it all. She's having fun, and that's important. Ooh. Oh, spoke too soon. That front aerial looks like she just dropped her shoulder a little bit there. We'll have to take a look at that hopefully in the replay.
She's following a 9.85 and 9.775. Those are season highs for Kentucky.
Switch leap, side straddle. Her switch leaps though, wow, beautiful split there. That's that sheep jump that we've talked about before. It's definitely a lot harder than it looks. They make it look so simple. All right, here comes the dismount. Round off, 1.5, and almost a stuck landing. Then she says, man, almost had it. Here comes the fall. Let's take a look at this straight on. Kind of see where things might have slipped up for her. Front aerial, yeah, just dropped that shoulder just a little bit. You could tell her hips were a little bit off on that, but she comes back with a nice switch leap. Straddle side. And the dismount, the round off. 1.5, just a tiny little hop on that landing. But she recovered well.
Now we're seeing a last-minute lineup change here for Auburn. Drew Rotson, the freshman, it's her first time on floor. She's replacing Gracie Day here with an opportunity to, for the first time, make a debut in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, Gracie Day having trouble on that double Arabian. I saw her she sat it down a couple times there during touch.
But look who's right behind Drew Watson right there. Gracie Day cheering her on.
Cheering her on. Sometimes you just got to make a switch up in the lineup there, go with who's confident. And as Graba said, you know, you want to see these girls come out here and compete. You don't know what they're capable of until you put them out there You can learn nothing when they're on the bench, and that's what is tough about this sport, because you get 6 routines up, 6 routines down, and with not being able to do any exhibition routines here, it's really hard to tell how they're going to perform out here in this competition lineup, because it is a totally different beast when you're out here in front of this crowd competing for your team. But so far, so good. Looks like she's trying to catch her breath a little, recharge before the second tumbling pass. She did a double pike there in the first tumbling pass. Let's see what she's got here in the second one. Double tuck. Ooh, just a little bit short. Looked like she tried to save that landing and stick it. Not quite. And here's where endurance is really key, especially going right into this third tumbling pass. She didn't have a lot of time between those 2 tumbling passes. Certainly difficult. Oh, that 1.5, you could tell it looked like she just was a little bit out of breath, lost a little bit of her energy there at the end. And that can be really tough, because sometimes you come out with a lot of adrenaline early on, and it can wear down on you throughout that routine.
We're going to go back over to beam for Kentucky, and Alex Highland, a little more pressure on her after the fall from Sydney Dukes. But another thing to note, she needs a 9.925 to win all around and beat Molly Korth, her own teammate. A 9.9 would tie these two for the all-around title in this meet.
Alex Highland, just a confident competitor, fits really well into this anchor position, co-SEC champion on beam last year. You're going to see she just has this look about her, and sometimes you'll see her sing on the beam. We'll see if she does that tonight, maybe as a way to calm herself down.
She's got to know the song, right? I mean, I guess we got to see if she knows what she's singing.
That's right. Last week it was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Here comes that combination that Coach was talking about, the combination that she doesn't necessarily have to connect every time. If she's a little off, she might hold off on connecting it so that she can save the landings there and not fall. You know, I think probably playing it a little bit conservative in this routine, wanting to make sure that she stays on the balance beam and that they don't have to count another fall. Here comes a cat leap, side aerial, full dismount, sticks the landing. Beautiful finish for Alex Highland. Again, really tough coming off of that fall ahead of her. Here comes the replay, back handspring, layout, step out. Just trying to fight it a little bit. That'll be a deduction there. And then here comes the dismount. Cat leap, aerial, stuck dismount, layout full.
Remember, she did need a 9.9 to tie Molly Korth for the all-around and 9.925 to win it. We head back over to the floor. Abby Millay, the anchor for Auburn on floor. She's had a 9.8 or higher all year on this event.
It's always fun to watch this floor routine here. The inspiration from this is from the Black Swan. And I just love her lines. Her flexibility is just incredible. Absolutely beautiful on this event. That toe point, as we were talking about earlier, makes all the difference in the world if you can really extend those legs and toes. Front handspring, front layout, front Rudy. Wow. That almost seemed effortless.
Pretty Bama.
And I love that she really just kind of works the camera. She's right here in front of us.
Yeah, we got a front row seat for this show. Not bad.
And look at the gymnastics back there, so intent, watching, waiting. See how she finishes this thing out. Here comes the double pike. Nice landing there. Just a little squatty on the landing, but pretty good finish for her. And again, there she goes, just working it. And it's always fun, they kind of work it for their teammates. You can see them really revving her up, getting her prepared for this last pass, getting her re-energized, ready to go. This last and final and third tumbling pass, 1.5, front layout. Oh, trying to go for that stuck landing, just a tiny little hop. Woo, look at that split. She says, look at me. Look at me. Look at those guys. They won a 10-0.
The Auburn Tigers finishing up this fourth and final rotation with Abby Millay going out on a high note, certainly. And really what we saw from both of these teams is a big-time performance. And Molly Korth goes out here on the road and wins the all-around. It was a season high on bars for her. We saw those beautiful lines in action on bars.
She's really been just a confident gymnast. As I said it before, coming in, not getting to train in the preseason and then this year, and I think that's the one hard thing to get used to when you get to the college level. You're used to always competing for yourself, being an individual gymnast, and now you got to go into practice every day and compete for that lineup spot. It isn't easy, and there's always a lot of pressure on that.
Well, now we will go right to break, but we'll be right back to wrap this up as Kentucky getting the win over Auburn on the road, but lots to build on for these Auburn Tigers. When we come back, we'll tell you all about it. The 6th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats on the road beating the 16th-ranked Auburn Tigers in a night where we saw lots of big-time performances, career highs, season highs. Laura Rutledge here with Lauren Sisler. And I think what we saw from both of these teams tonight was performances they can build on. And once again, 2 scores that are over 196. So in the overall rankings of everything, that's good.
And I think one thing we saw from the Auburn Tigers had to make some adjustments there late on the floor exercise, which is certainly hard to do, but they were able to go out and compete. Certainly not quite the finish they wanted to have on floor, but I think they can certainly build from this. And I think Jeff Graba is really able to get that, that lineup, that change up, and being able to see where these girls can score and getting as much experience from these girls as possible.
Kentucky really relies on Molly Korth, and she continues that incredible performance that she showed us in her freshman season. She wins the all-around tonight. It started off strong with this 9-9 on vault from her. You see the amplitude there. Then she headed to bars. This was a season-high 9-9. And to beam. Lauren, what impressed you about Molly Korth tonight on the road?
I just think being able to come into this type of environment when you've got a fan base that sits right on top of the vaulting runway, and for her to be able to come out and have these performances again, she's only a sophomore, she's still young, but she goes out here, she performs. She's got that sass about her and that confidence level that they can really use throughout the entire season.
Yeah, of course, this Kentucky team heading to LSU next week. That's the 2nd-ranked LSU Tigers, and that's a tough environment to compete in. So they will rely heavily on Molly Korth there, as well as Sydney Dukes and Sarah Hyland. And Sydney Dukes had the one fall on beam, but she's somebody that bounces back from any of that stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing. The final score there for Kentucky, a 196.7, just 3/10 short of that 197 they were looking for. But as you said, going on the road to LSU, again, overall, a great meet from both teams and a lot they can build on.
Fun night here in Auburn Arena, and we get you now to Gainesville, the #1 Oklahoma Sooners at the #5 Florida Gators. Bart Connor, Kathy Johnson-Clark. Take it away. Kentucky Wildcats getting the win over Auburn here.
In first place,